This is the best experience with your host, Nick Best, and the Angry Dad. And we just got back. Literally just got back. We had to recoup. We had to get our wits back. But we were at World's Strongest Man. And for everyone that was there, thank you for shaking hands, signing autographs, and those who recognized me, I appreciate it. It was one hell of a week. Nick, it's crazy because I didn't realize how tired we were, and I didn't realize the minimal sleep, like 4 hours a night, and it flew. That week flew by.
Yeah, it was a fast week. I mean, by the time we landed, and by the time we got done with everything, and if you hear some stuff, the gardener's here kind of doing things, and my dog's going crazy. I apologize now. But it just absolutely was an insane week. I mean, from the time we landed, just seeing everybody, catching up with them, going to train. I mean, Wayne's gym the pump house was out of control.
Oh yeah, it was super nice. I liked it.
Yeah, and then I mean, both the gyms we went to were just amazing.
Oh yeah, we went to Next Level, and we went to the Pump House first in Myrtle Beach, and then we went to Next Level in Myrtle Beach. And I thought we were gonna go back there a second day, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna grab because I liked the shirts that he had, so I was like, I wanted to grab them, but if next time we go down there, I'm making sure I'm gonna grab them.
Well, hopefully the guys at World's Strongest Man decide to do that again. I mean, the crowds were, probably. The 2 days of the finals, there were probably between 15 and 20,000 people out there. Never seen it like that before.
And it was crazy too. And for everyone who's there and those who were actually watching, and and for those who are going to see it when it does air, people started bringing ladders. You know what I'm saying? Like there were so many people there. No, they didn't expect. You can only imagine. No one expected that large of a crowd to show up, so they weren't prepared for seating, but. Yeah. All of a sudden, you see step stools. Next day, you see 7-foot ladders. I think we saw one person out there with a 12-foot ladder. You know what I'm saying? So they can watch the competition. It was insane.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And I mean, the VIP section was full. They sold that out. I mean, it was just. This was probably the best crowd, hands down, I've ever seen at a World's Strongest Man. I don't even think it's close. And especially the way it was set up, because in Sacramento, when you came in, you had to walk a very long way to get to the competition site. The competition site was right there. The people that did have booths, that was all set up. I mean, it was all real easy to find, see, get to. And the crazy thing is we got out there early a couple times, like 6:15.
Yeah, every morning.
There was already people in line.
Yeah.
There were people lined up against, the viewing areas that were blocked off. Already waiting to watch, and the show was going to start. The guy's right outside my door.
Nah, it goes like that.
They're sitting there in line at 6-7 o'clock in the morning, and that area won't start until like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So they were pick and choosing because all three of the events each day were set up in the same locations, and they would just go from one location to the next. Mm-hmm. And that was actually really kind of neat. The way it was set up. So
it definitely was.
I think the second day of the prelims, they ordered in more grandstands.
Yeah.
And they were moving grandstands around. They weren't massive grandstands, but they were grandstands, which
exactly. And then the crowd started turning them around. That's the thing.
Yeah. He's right there by my garage door. Oh, there he goes.
There you go. That's it.
So sorry everybody. Technical difficulties. Scheduling. No, but I mean, so it was really neat, and you sit up and you see the people up, and I mean, it looked unbelievable for the event. It was just really special. And then walking around, I would go out and jump out in the crowd and just walk while everybody was waiting and meet people and take pictures and sign autographs and talk with people. And they're like, when's you guys gonna do season 2? And I'm like, hey, just keep peppering the heck out of the History Channel.
Yeah, hey, go up there and comment on their social media. Send them emails, because guess what? If you want a second season, you're gonna have to show them, because, like I said, Nick and the guys want to make the second season, but unfortunately, certain people don't want to see great people do great things.
I'm fairly sure if it gets back to Eli, the head of the network, enough of it, he'll just he'll tell the people underneath him, we're doing this.
100%.
Not really worried about what you think anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've all agreed to do it. They've called us a couple different times. You guys still interested? And we're like, yeah, but nothing's come of it. So
yeah,
yeah, we all want to do it really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to have to see, what happens, as far as that goes. But World's Strongest Man, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, it was an amazing week. We got really good coverage. If it wasn't for the guest badges that we had, it would have been pretty difficult to really get the thing, because there was so many people there. Like I said, and way more booths this time. They actually had a couple of food trucks. They had a couple of vendors selling stuff. Rain was there. You know what I'm saying? Rain, and every single day, everybody ran out of product to sell. So like everything was selling out.
SPD on the first day ran out of shirts.
Yeah,
they sold them all.
Yeah, and then I want to say
then they were selling the stuff for the staff.
Yeah, they started selling staff shirts. It's like because they just weren't prepared. And the thing too is like I don't even think on Sunday's finals they didn't even open their booth. They were just like, we're done.
Yeah, they were out.
Yeah, they were completely out.
They had still got an extra delivery in, and they sold out that fast. So it was pretty neat. It was pretty neat to watch. So I have to take a technical break.
Back. And before we get right back into it, I want to mention Barbell Apparel, premium athletic wear engineered for performance with a tailored athletic fit, refined clothing for athletic body types. So guess what? Get hooked up at barbell.com/best. The link will be in the notes if you want to get yourself a Best Strong shirt. And also, too, if you want to be coached by a 10-time World's Strongest Man competitor, a Masters World's Strongest Man, a world powerlifting champion, guess what? Nick is accepting clients. And you know what? We're tying into Masters competitors. If you're a Masters competitor and you want to step up your game, be trained, and have coaching from somebody who is a Masters contender, is a Masters powerlifter, is a Masters strongman, and really just take your next level up, well, guess what? Reach out to us, fill out the link in the notes, and get hooked up with Nick. All right, when we get right back into it with Nick here.
Okay, now we're back.
That's it. Well, and with the way Worlds worked out, I just wasn't expecting, first of all, like a lot of these guys here were just like the effort was to the max, because when you're at World's Strongest Man, you're getting that top 10 at the end of the day, but it's just like the max effort everybody put in was tremendous. The show that they put on, the athletes were, you could see everyone firing on all four cylinders. Or all, you know what I'm saying? It's like it was really fucking bumping.
Well, it's the Super Bowl of the sport. It still is right now. So, I mean, people, you're there for a reason. You're there to try to win the title. I mean, I don't think there's a guy that goes that don't think they have a shot at winning, or they have goals of making the top 5 or whatever. I mean, the guys, as your rookies coming in, you're trying to make the finals, and after you make the finals, you're trying to make the top 5, and then after that, you're trying to win the whole thing. I mean, it's kind of the natural progression to it. But I mean, some of the things there, it was Brian Shaw's last show, which is one of the main reasons why I went, because I've known Brian since 2006, and he's a good dear friend of mine. We were on the show together. Spent just a ton of time with him, love him to death. He's one of the few people in the world I actually still have a lot of respect for, because most of the heroes and stuff like that are people you look up to, which you got to look up to Brian because he's 6'8". But I mean, just people that I have respect for have found ways to lose that respect, and he hasn't, and that's pretty neat. I mean, so people like him are really uncommon. Him, Mark Felix, and it was Mark's last show too. It was neat to watch Mark go out, and get to say goodbye and everything else like that. So it was a pretty special one. It's definitely an end of an era, that's for sure. So I'm just kind of, it's neat to see the other generation come in and actually start dominating. I mean, could Brian keep going on and keep making the finals and keep going? Yeah. But I mean, he almost lost his leg getting ready for this. And those are some things that people don't take into account. 13 weeks ago, they were deciding whether or not they're going to take his leg. That's kind of a scary thing when you have that bad of an infection. So for him to come out there and just do what he did was amazing. But I mean, a couple little mistakes, a slip on the finger, which he would have won that event. He was ahead of time. He would have won that event. That bumps him way up. Mm-hmm. The shield, his legs kind of knotted up, and he dropped it a little earlier than he should have. He gets another length out of that, which I know he can. That changes the points again and changes the whole outlook on things. Me personally, the stone off, I would love to see a 5 stone off with the third place guy going first. He does 5 stones over those bars that are like that as fast as he can. And then the other guy goes as fast as he can. I'm fairly sure they think it's more exciting on TV to watch 2 guys battle to the death. But the problem is you give such an unnatural, unfair advantage to the top 5 that make it through winning the heat in the previous event that it's not right. It's really not right. And none of the guys that were in the stone off loaded all 5 stones. Mm-hmm. Well, except for Tom. But I mean, that doesn't count. Tom's a stone freak. And I mean, the guy's loaded a 660 stone. I mean, come on. But everyone else, I mean, Evan got in the stone off. He won in the stone off. He didn't load the last stone. Brian was in the stone off. He didn't load the last stone. I mean, for Evan, it cost him 3rd place. So, I mean, it's a big deal. And it really just takes everything out of the guys when they do that. And if Brian doesn't do 11 Atlas stones in the stone off and only does 5, does he pull an extra rep on the deadlift? Yeah, I think he would. But it was still amazing. He pulled 7. I mean, so I don't think he underperformed. I think it's just amazing that he was there in the first place. And it was a really neat place for him to finish off his career. It's not the results any of us wanted. I wanted to see his win his 5th one. I'm sure everybody else did. But what Hooper did, watching him, I mean, it's just amazing. He is the next generation coming in that's just a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. I mean, I can't seem to find a weakness on the guy. I mean, I don't think there's anything he's not in the top 3 at. And he might not necessarily win every single event, but you don't need to. You just need to place the highest and have the biggest point total at the end to win. And he is consistently doing that. I think he was the 4th or maybe the 5th, but I think he's the 4th guy to win World's Strongest Man and the Arnold in the same year. Brian was the first guy to do it. Sedunas was the second. I know Hopthor did it as well. I'm not sure about Martins, but I know Hopthor did it. So he's either the 4th or the 5th. Martins might have done it as well. I'm not braining well today. So.
But Hooper, like I said, seeing him from last year and then seeing the progression, because like one of the things that you guys always tell me is like it's the overtraining and the overdoing your rookie season. And Hooper's been hitting pretty much every event, Giants Lives, all these strongman events, and placing pretty freaking high in almost every single one. Just winning the Arnold and then coming right into World's Strongest Man with that momentum. Yeah, it's crazy to see, because like last year he hurt himself during the stone off because he's never touched a stone in his life, and then to him loading all 5 stones
this year,
and making it look like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because like Mitchell Hooper has a different body structure than what the majority of strongmen look like. So it's sometimes it's like it's a little crazy just to watch what's happening.
And I think he knows how to suffer and do things that are uncomfortable that other people just don't want to deal with. I mean, the guy was a marathon runner, 3-4 years ago. So when you're a marathon runner, you really have to not like yourself to keep running 26 miles and especially to be good at it. And then technically learning things and angles and stuff like that. The guy was a really good golfer too. So, I mean, I used to think Magnus was probably the smartest of all the strongmen on how to figure out events and how to do well at them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Hooper's right there on figuring stuff out, because the learning curve that he's shown this year is just extremely amazing. I mean, he learns how to do something and he becomes, top 3, top 4 in the world at it immediately. This was the first time he did fingers, and everybody watched. He was using a wood log concoction thing that he made and broke it to figure out how to try to do fingers. And he finished all the fingers. So it's just amazing the package that he brings. It's going to be tough for guys to, get in on that. He's always going to be up there in the top 3, top 4 all the time on every single event. There's not going to be a weak event,
Well, and that's the thing too. Like,
and that doesn't matter what show he goes to either.
Yeah.
It's not like he went to the Arnold, did the Arnold, and then had great events at the Arnold and turned around at Worlds. I mean, the events weren't similar.
Yeah, they weren't at all. It was all completely separate events. And that's the thing too, is like, there was a big talk on the last qualifier because Mitchell won every single heat he was in. And here's the thing, like, when it came down to the kettlebell toss, he didn't finish that last one, but he didn't have to even throw one because he was already in the finals. But the thing is it was like, there was talk all week of like, will he try to do this? Because if he does this, he'll be the first ever to win every single heat that he was in,
it's every single event in the heat.
Yeah.
To win the heat.
Yeah.
So nobody's done that. You've had guys win every heat they've been in.
Yeah.
But you haven't had guys win every event.
That's what I was talking about. Is because he almost did that.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm like, dude, you only got to throw one. And he's like, oh, and you're like, okay, knock yourself out. But he also cleaned the 342 and got it to his shoulder in familiarization when he's going to the finals. I mean, that's just amazing, and
it's insane.
And still brought it. Still was fresh, and I think probably the most interesting and fun thing I saw him do was that shield carry. I mean, he came around Tom made that last turn and was looking at him thinking there's no way he's going to carry it any further.
Yeah, exactly. He had to make that decision.
And it was already coming down, and he was just like, I got it locked in. It's not, I can hold it like this a long time.
And he was crab walking that thing.
He just kept moving, and Tom's like, this should be good. And he drops the shield.
Yeah.
And has to sit there and watch him keep going, touch the line, come back. And then he's almost going sideways at the end. So he makes sure he's past Tom's spot and then just drops it. And you're just like, yeah, that's a guy who's just willing to go that extra bit to win.
Yeah. And Skullwinkle did fall with Skull. I want to say it's Skull, but his name's Jocko. I just want to make sure that, if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Schoonwinkle. I'm very apologetic, but
man, that guy's a heck of a talent too.
I can't wait to see him next year because goddamn, that was like another one of those dark horses where it's like, who the hell is this guy? First time here, and he was killing it.
Yeah, he won the heat. He won Brian's heats. So yeah, that's pretty serious. You beat Brian at anything, much less win the heat. You're doing pretty good. And the last 2 years, he had, 2 Rickies come in out of nowhere and turned out to be pretty darn good. So
exactly. And I actually happened to have my first leg of flight with him too. I didn't get a chance to get a full conversation with Jocko, but I did see him on there, and I congratulated him on his first Worlds for doing as well as he did.
Yeah. And now he's a World's Strongest Man finalist no matter what. And that's the thing kind of people don't get, because you could get banged up in the qualifying heats. You got to be out of your mind if you qualify for the finals and you get hurt, not to go out and do the first event. Whether you were able to lift it, whether or not, because history records you're a World's Strongest Man finalist and you get 10th place.
Yeah.
If you don't go do that, you're not a finalist.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
So just kind of like if you show up at World's Strongest Man and you're a little bit injured, but you're in, you do it because you do the first event and you do the best you can and get through it because you're World's Strongest Man competitor at that point.
That's
forever.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could ever take that away from you. There is now a guy who's still not a World's Strongest Man competitor because he got hurt. He got hurt and didn't want to keep going in, or he was complaining he was hurt. So I was just like, dude. So now this was his second time trying to get in, and it's at some point you got to get into that show to be a World's Strongest Man competitor. If not, you're just a strongman.
Exactly.
Big difference.
And and the one thing too is I want to talk about the crowd response, and also too is like being with Nick and watching Nick and helping Nick and just being there, you see the appreciation that these fans have because and Nick takes the time with everybody to take pictures, sign autographs, shake hands, and even crush a couple of hands. You know what I'm saying?
No, I didn't crush anybody. I think they were trying to crush mine now. It was like by the 20th or 30th one, you're like, come on, man, it's hitting grip contest. I got some very firm handshakes. Let's just say that.
That's it.
And then I had one kid like really try to squeeze it. And then I just kind of tightened up my grip. I'm like, okay, go. Come on, give it to me. He's like, and he gave me all he had. I'm like, okay, we good now? And he's like, no, you go. I go, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. No. So, but that was good.
Yeah, it was good. And thanks to Peaches, famous Peaches Diner, because, man, they saved us every single day. We were able to go there. The waitress got to know us really well and serving us burgers and fries and,
and a hot dog. Don't forget
and a hot dog. And, I would say they expedited our order. Went off meal plan, but they expedited our food a little faster than everybody else's. So I can definitely say we appreciate that. Very appreciative of that.
Yeah, that place was pretty special.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was. And Myrtle Beach is beautiful. The sand is beautiful. The weather is beautiful. We had one day of rain, but it was just off and on. So we definitely did enjoy our time.
Which was fun because then, you have a little bit of different weather.
That's it.
And even as a competitor, though, it's not blazing hot. That was another one of the amazing things about being at Myrtle Beach. Even when the sun was out and it was bright and sunny, at this time of the year, it's perfect. I mean, literally the perfect weather to compete in, because even when it's hot, it's not hot. It's, maybe 80 degrees, maybe 85 degrees at most. So it's not bad. It's not like it's 110 and you're getting crispy while you're out.
It wasn't Sacramento last year,
Yeah, but
that was blazing.
Yeah. So it was an unbelievable experience. And then the tent that the athletes got to be in, far and away the best tent I've ever seen out of all of them. When they turned the coolers on, it was cool. When they turned them off, it got comfortable. There was plenty of room. All the couches were great. There's there was tons of room for the athletes and their families or people that they brought in, and then other guys that came in that just needed to get out and get away. It was pretty neat. Juju Mufu and Flex Lewis as well. They were, both of those guys were just so much fun to hang out with and talk to, and just kind of see what's going on and catch up with them. And
that's it. And you actually did a Q&A with Big Z, which it did extremely well. Everyone loved it. Everyone had some good solid questions to ask you guys.
Yeah,
Nick's a very emotional man, and he likes to wear that heart on his sleeve, and you know what I'm saying. People appreciate that.
Yeah, so it was pretty neat. The Q&A with Z was a lot of fun. I mean, we get up there and just talk, and I made a reference to the one we did the year before about strawberry milkshakes, because there was a question I had when I competed with him in a team world competition where it was USA versus the world, and we never saw any of the guys, Vasile, him, or Andres, out like eating. And then we'd see Z come in and order 3 strawberry milkshakes and some food and then go back to his room. And I'm like, what are the strawberry milkshakes for? And he's like, they taste good. You're just like, okay. So I just had to ask him that question. And so this year he was talking about things to eat, and I go, and strawberry milkshake. And he's like,
That's
yes,
it.
strawberry milkshake.
That's it.
So it was pretty cool. It was fun. I really like doing stuff like that with Z.
Oh yeah, and like I said, this is my second year with you going to Worlds, and man, it both times have been a great experience, really eye opening for me. And it's like, we need to make sure that next year when they announce where World's Strongest Man is going to be for next year, we need to make sure that World's Strongest Man out there knows that they need to get Nick out there and to make sure that they, like I said, you're doing a lot of crowd work. You're doing, you're shaking hands, signing autographs, and you're doing the things that, a lot of the athletes right now can't do because they have to focus in on the competition. Athletes there, as they're crossing and getting to their tent and go, every one of them will take that picture. Every one of them will sign your autograph. They all do take the time, but the thing is they have to be 100% focused on what they're doing, and having you there to like smooth the crowd where it's like Nick's out there signing autographs. Nick's, if they can get competitors like yourself to just do there and to do that, it would take a lot of pressure off a lot of the athletes there because they're like, oh, okay, there's actually someone else. Exactly. Former competitors, those who aren't competing to be in there and to do this. And because, like I said, you can see the value in what you were doing there, and the crowd appreciated. Like, we had so many comments, we had so many people. You took so many pictures. Like as we were recording them and doing this work. Like, I told people, I was like, mention this in your comments. If you have the picture or you're in this video, mention yourself, because guess what? We want to know that you were there, and then everyone, great experience. Thanks, Nick. Genuine Nick. Nick's the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank you for taking the time, because that's what you did. You really gave, you give that personal touch, and it's because you have an appreciation for what the sport is and what the sport is given to you.
Oh yeah, I love this sport. I'll love it till the day I die. Nothing's going to change about that. Is it perfect? No. Could it be better? Mm-hmm. But it's still the sport I love. And I mean, there's not much in this world that's absolutely perfect anyway. So all you can do is strive to keep getting better at what you do. And Worlds keeps getting a little better every year. And does everything go right all the time? No. But it's still a human event. I mean, could they start using laser timers on some of the moving events? Yeah. Especially when you have 6 to 8 guys finish within 1 second of each other on an event.
1/6 of a second.
Yeah, well, so because it's really hard to determine this. Yeah. So, but it's okay. I mean, the people that shine through still shine through.
Yep.
And got what they got. It would be neat to take that little factor out of it, and then, the facility was great though. Mm-hmm. Didn't have a whole lot of problems with the things, with the events and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it was fun. I mean, it was good to watch. I wish I was out there doing it. So it didn't do anything to stop the burning desire to keep going. It made it worse, actually.
Yeah, if you say right now, you kept mentioning, it's like, oh, I need to be out there. And I was
I'm just like, well, let's get through this powerlifting meet and see where my body's at, and then we'll go
exactly.
From there.
See how you feel. See how you're recovering.
I'm not going to say never again, but I technically kind of retired last year. So, but that's when I had the kidney issue and didn't know what.
Well, things were a little unclear, what I'm saying, at that moment in time. But now things are starting to clear up a little bit, and they're heading in a positive direction. So
yeah, I'm learning how my body's reacting to this and
adjusting the training.
Yeah, adjusting the training and how everything's functioning. So.
And you did get an opportunity to talk with one of the best nutritionists in there, Nathan.
Nathan Payton's just absolutely amazing. I mean, it's funny how you do things that are instinctually right. Like I found out, my James, my training partner, is like, dude, you're conjugate. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. In the training and the way I rotate things around, I came to it all on my own. And now, like a lot of the way I eat and the things that I do before I go out and train or compete and stuff like that were things that Nathan Payton does with his guys. And I was like, oh, well, but he had the clinical explanation of how it works and why it works. And it's always good to keep learning and learning new things and adjustments to it. That's the big one. It's like learning from him. I learned how to tweak a couple things, and it's already like before I go to bed, no sweets after dinner. I mean, it's just dinner. That's it. There's no sweets after dinner, no desserts. And man,
that's my favorite.
I know, but I'm already sleeping better. I'm already sleeping better.
That's it.
And it's like, okay. And then when to drive your glucose level up before you go compete, before you go do an event and stuff like that. It was just, and the timing on that, because I would watch him tell the other coaches or the athletes that he was helping when to, load the extra just glucose in and then go out and do that. And I'm like, oh, cool. You notice the time frame, you watch what he's doing and you learn from what they're doing. And people don't do that anymore. They don't just sit there and watch and learn and see what the top at the top of the top are actually doing in practice, not what they say, what they actually do. And that's where you're going to learn a lot of stuff. That's why it's so important to go to competitions and, each level you go up, go there, compete, but watch what's going around you your first year, 2 years in, so that you can pick up little bits and pieces from everybody and then mesh that into yours and then go perform. It makes a big difference 2-3 years down the line.
And it definitely, like I said, and I can see that bug itching you where it's like, I need to get back out there. But the thing is you got this powerlifting meet, and let's actually talk about like a little bit of the strategy of what you're doing to get into this meet coming up.
Okay. As
well, the sensitive subject is the deadlift, because like I said, we all know you got to squat like ain't no tomorrow. But it's the work you're giving yourself, because like I said, you're literally rehabbing yourself to get that deadlift back up.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of discipline and it takes a lot of self-restraint. Do I feel like I can go in and start pulling heavy? Yes. Is that the smartest thing to do right now? No, I don't have till September, so I got a pretty good long way away right now. So basically, squat wise, I did 755
at the pump house.
At the pump house. Thanks, Wayne, for spotting on one of the sides. I appreciate it.
Everyone kept asking who he was.
And it was really helpful, and it made me feel very safe. And I came right up with it. I mean, it was not that hard.
Yeah, ridiculously solid.
So I know I'm going to squat back into the 8s in September. It's not going to be an issue. I'll probably cycle my training up 2 times. I'll probably, I don't know if I want to go 775 next week or the following week, and then probably come back down a little bit and then start coming up to where I hit 800, then come back down. And then the last peaking cycle in, come in and try to hit around 840, with my final attempt being somewhere between 843 and 859 in September on the squat. That's kind of where I'm thinking. And you always give and take a little bit. I mean, you got to change your expectations and your goals as you're training and take what your body gives you. And sometimes it's going to give it to you, and sometimes it's not. As it does, you readjust that and bring it down, and you just get the most you can get on that given day. Bench, I want to come in. I'd like to do 507 on a second and then go somewhere between 518 and 534. I'd really like to get to the 534. I think I can do it. My triceps are both starting to fire pretty good now. And it's actually feeling good. I'm getting in a rhythm. I can brace. I'm starting to be able to brace without fear of my abdomen, which if you're watching the videos over the previous weeks, I've always had my training partners like right on the bar when I get to my top set, because if I'm pushing and something doesn't feel right, I'm just going to have them grab it immediately. I don't even want the bar to go down. It's just take it off me right away. So that's kind of why that's been going on. But this week, it went real smooth, really, real solid. And it's starting to not hurt when I brace.
Yeah, put that pressure on her.
Deadlift wise, my goal is to pull 500 for 20 before I go and start pulling heavy singles. At that point, I know if I can pull 500 for 20 with probably a 6-week peaking cycle, I should be able to pull into the low 8s without too much of a problem. So this week I did 455 for 20. I want to hit 475 for 20 on Friday. And this is Tuesday morning, which this will probably be up Tuesday night. Sorry, Ben.
No, that's all right. I get it done.
I know. But pull 475 for 20 this week, and then 2 weeks after that, pull 500 for 20. And if I do that, then I'll start, starting at 600, I'll jump up to 600 and pull 1, maybe 2, 3, just see what I'm comfortable with, and just slowly start ratcheting that up to where I get to the 7s and low 7s and mid 7s and then high 7s and then 8s and then back it down. I'd like to try to do that a couple times before September. But the goal is to kind of pull 8-10 in September on my second attempt, leaving me with room to pull wherever I kind of want to pull on my third. Yeah. But if I squat what I want to squat and I bench what I want to bench, 8-10 will give me the number that I want as far as a total, and then over that will be kind of going after the world record in the deadlift again, because the record right now is 815.
Nice.
So, but Andy Bolton's getting ready to go in, I think, May, and he's going to try to break it. I mean, he's using a suit and he's doing it in a single lift meet, which is okay.
Yeah, perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. But I'm going to do it raw.
Do it old school.
And then shortly after that, we'll see what happens. I might throw a suit on after that and do a single lift meet too. So we'll see.
Yeah. And and like I said, that's how it goes. But with that being said, Nick, man, you really got into depth. And like I said, with the knowledge that he has, if you want to tap into that knowledge, you want to, Nick is accepting clients to train. We're talking about, we will take on anybody who wants to exceed to that elite level. But if you're a master's and you really want to step up your game, well, guess what? The knowledge and experience is right here. So make sure you check out the link. Make sure you go check out Barbell, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. YouTube, Facebook, all podcast platforms, because guess what? It really helps us out. I'm the Angry Dad. This is Nick Best. And you know what, Nick? Hit him with them words.
Well, thank you for everything. Like, share, and subscribe as always. But train hard, train smart, and be the best you can be.